What's going on, people? Today, I can't remember when this was, but I came across this interesting fact, I guess, or factoid, which is that Sanskrit is supposedly the best human language for programming languages, right? Because like anyone who's programmed before and also has learned a learned a different language, aka I am monolingual, but like the point is, has tried learning a new language, may have already thought, we use English in programming, but is it really the best language you could use for programming? Because like naming conventions can be hard in English, like some plurals, for instance. Like, how do I differentiate a single sheep versus many sheep? Right? Like it's the same word. Whereas if a language, for example, had always consistently puts a plural marker on plural words. So instead of sheep, it was sheeps, and like instead of like cactus and cacti, it was cactus and cactuses, right? Consistently for all words, then that would be ideal for programming. Blech. That would be ideal for programming because then there wouldn't be any like exceptions or like weird cases to for naming conventions, right? Because like, naming can be quite difficult for that reason for a lot of the time, or even like booleans, right? Like was found, is valid, like stuff like that. So like you could like if not is valid, it's like if not is valid, like we're used to it right now as programmers, but like really it'd be more natural if it read as if is not valid, right, in English. Whereas if a language actually did just generally say if is like if it had the word order if not is valid, then it would be well suited for programming. So I'm curious to see how therefore Sanskrit makes its way, or well, supposedly appeals as a very good programming language for programming in. Obviously, the industries, pretty much everyone programs in English. It is like the language has become standard for programming across the board. But if you were to consider different languages, that'd be interesting. So I'm going to start with this website, with this project, but like it's not open source, so there's only really this. This is omlang at omlang.com. There's no GitHub page, unfortunately, so this is everything I can find right now. But it was 2020. Well, it says copyright. It says copyright 2026, and it was posted by this guy called Mayank Kumar. I think he's down here. Yeah, Mayank Kumar. I think I believe he's Indian. And my reasoning for that will become evident in a second. This copyright says 2026, but if I check his YouTube channel, he has this Lang from 3 years ago.
I tried everything.
Okay.
Coffee, Pomodoro, and
Just give it a
binaural
second.
beats. But nothing stuck until I tried this.
We did ask. 26 seconds ad. Okay. YouTube Music, by the way. So this project it was 3 years ago, which is still recent, but not super recent either. And there is no GitHub link or anything, so it's hard to track like progress on this.
मेरा नाम मयंक कुमार है और मैं दुनिया की सबसे पहली संस्कृत
Oh, by the way, if you have no idea what Sanskrit is, because I've kind of just said it, Sanskrit is an ancient language from India. I think, I mean, both Sanskrit and Tamil are really old. I think Tamil is older. Although before I say anything too controversial, Tamil or Sanskrit older? But like Sanskrit is used, I believe, in Hindu texts, ancient Hindu text, and it is very old. Tamil and Sanskrit are among the world's oldest. Okay, so it's actually so it is actually debated. But Sanskrit was written very long ago in Vedic or Vedic text, however you pronounce that. So very cool. That's what it looks like. You may think it looks similar to Hindi. I doubt that's a coincidence. And y'all.
एंड मल्टीलिंगुअल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज का आविष्कार किया है जिसका नाम है ओमलैंग। और इस वीडियो में बताने वाला हूं कि कैसे ओमलैंग प्रोजेक्ट इस पूरे देश को बदल सकता है। तो इस वीडियो को अंत तक देखें, इसे स्किप बिल्कुल ना करें।
I believe he's speaking Hindu, okay. Or Hindi, sorry. No English
ओमलैंग क्या
subtitles.
है? जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि दुनिया बहुत अच्छे से समझ पाते
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's talking about, but I assume it's the same as what is here. Also, just noticing this video only has 22,000 views, so really like this hasn't really been super big, from what I can tell. Also, if I look for OM Lang on Google, it actually does it does come up on Wikipedia, which is cool. And there's this thread on r/programming, but doesn't seem to have much. Actually, is this even the same one? No, this is different. Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting that this shows up on Wikipedia though. Is there a link? Yeah. So this is this one, and it wasn't the Play Store, but it was. Oh yeah, that's right. There was a Play Store app, but it was archived. I'd love to. Well, I'll show in a second, I guess. No, so here's that. I think. By the way, Omlang isn't just Hindi. It's also sorry. It isn't just Sanskrit. It's also Hindi. Because Hindi is a. I'm guessing Hindi has a similar grammar. Um, but yeah, this is the language here. Yeah, so it's cool that it shows up there. That it shows up there, and I'd actually be kind of curious to check out other ones here. But it's funny because I mean, I looked on Google, right? Is Sanskrit the best language for programming? Right? Like, there's this Reddit post from Science is Dope 2 years ago, or r slash, and it has 100 comments, I guess. And like, I don't know what the origin of this factoid was, or this well, not factoid, like this opinion was, I guess you'd call it. But it seems like it's kind of been spread around quite a bit. Again, I don't know what the origin is, but that's a belief. So it's strange that there's only one language so far that seemingly tried to be in Sanskrit. Although there are other ones for Hindi. Although I don't know if their goals are quite the same. I also wonder how these other languages compare. Like, there's quite a lot of Japanese. That's interesting. Korean has similar grammar structure to Japanese, so that's also interesting. Lots of Russians apparently, and I've actually seen a few Russian, more Spanish than I thought. So yeah, quite a few Tamil as well. So I'd definitely be interested in checking those out at some point. Anyway, so this is Lang. The sun's going down, so I need to turn my lights real quick. Also, my legs really hurt. Oh my days! I had a charity dodgeball match yesterday where I played like 9 games, which each game was like 15 minutes. So I guess in total that's like what, over 2 hours of dodgeball, of competitive dodgeball, and yeah, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. So, world's first Sanskrit programming language, Hindi programming language, Tamil, Kannada programming language, Marathi programming language, Bengali programming language, Telugu programming language, Malayalam programming language, Sanskrit. What? Okay, I knew Sanskrit and Hindi. I didn't know it also did Tamil, because to my understanding, Tamil does not have the same grammar as Sanskrit. Because Tamil is like, if you were to look at a tree, Tamil is like its own kind of branch. Like, it's called the I can't remember the name, but like Sanskrit is considered to be a Indo-European language, right? So like same original roots as like English, right? And like German and Spanish and all those. Whereas Tamil is completely separate, supposedly. So I mean, if you go back far enough, then there's a theory that all languages come from one place. But either way, do Tamil and Sanskrit share similar grammar? No. Yeah. So Tamil is Dravidian, whereas Sanskrit is Indo-Aryan or Aryan, whatever. But do Hindi and Sanskrit share similar grammar? Same scripts, but very different grammars. So interesting. So I wonder then how this is supposed to work. Um, Yeah, anyway, it says made in India. Well, the world's first Sanskrit and multilingual programming language that supports 9+ languages, made in India for India. Now, a multilingual programming language, I assume, is a language that supports different languages. Um, I mean, yeah, kind of self-explanatory, but it's like a C++ had aliases, right, for their keywords in Spanish. Or maybe you could like set the language at the top of the file, or maybe like the file extension could encode the language. Something like that would be quite useful for making it accessible for to people who don't speak English, right? But then the issue there as well is that it's not so easy to collaborate on. I mean, at least like as far as open source goes. But anyway, um, Hinglish. Yeah, what is Hinglish? Is Hinglish just like yeah? It's like Hindi written as in Latin text, I'm guessing, and maybe some other like slang things. Maybe I should learn English before Hindi, and that'll make it easier. Anyway, apparently it's faster than Java, JavaScript, PHP, but also Go. So I'm guessing it's not garbage collected. It says here it's faster than many languages by large operations, very easy to use, highly modern, blah blah blah, very professional, advanced. It's object oriented and compiled like C, C++, and Rust. Now, C and Rust are not object oriented, but they are compiled. With Erlang, you can do programming on your phone. So that was the Google Play app that's now been taken down. Erlang is able to be built literally by anything possible. Not even the sky is a limit, and it's only 2 MB. So modern, fast, simple, safe. These are its guarantees. But whatever. Whether or not it performs well, what I want to know is how the language is actually laid out, right? Like how it's written. That's what I care about. So only about 10% of the population of India can speak English as their second language, and nearly 0.1 as their first language. Really? I mean, this is 3 years ago, but I know that English is an official language of India, but I also know that when I went to India, like not everyone spoke English anyways. Um, I would not expect many people at all to speak it as their first language. I'm surprised it even reaches 0.1%. But what percent? Let's just fact check these real quick. What percent of India can speak English? 10 to 19%. Okay, but only 3 to 4% are considered highly fluent. First language, roughly 0.1%, or a few 100,000. Interesting. But that's reported as well. According to research, a person understands an idea or a concept better in their native language. Yeah, learning in a native language removes complications, keeps your interest intact, and makes learning process smooth. Remember the time when you were in school, or we were in school. We used to take our native language subject for granted, the confidence and ease we had in learning that subject. I can attest actually, because English is my native language. Surprise, surprise. But when I was 12 or 11, my family moved to La Palma in the Canary Islands, which is well, they're off the coast of they're off the coast of Africa, but they're owned by Spain. So like they're part of Spain, and therefore they speak Spanish. And I went to a Spanish local school, and I had to learn all these things now in Spanish. Now maths, unsurprisingly, I guess, was not too difficult. I was pretty fine with that, and also it was like this was like year 6, grade 5, so it was pretty easy maths anyway, like temperature and stuff like that. But for like science and stuff, it was really difficult, obviously, and I couldn't even understand the directions given to me, let alone the content. So, I mean, yeah. Now, if I had been fluent in Spanish already, then I wonder else like if I how that would have gone. But I still assume that because English is my native language and I have more intricate understandings, especially at higher levels of education, then that would just it would just be a lot easier, right? Smoother, as it says here, smooth. Even the new Indian educational policy is aiming towards the same goal. I've seen many people. I don't know what that's about. I've seen many people struggling to understand programming languages only because English adds complexity to an already complex thing for a non-English speaker and even for non-native English speakers. Okay, interesting. Because I did wonder, like, do programmers just learn English? I mean, like programmers who aren't or like who don't already speak English, like, do they just learn English? Are they forced to just learn English? Like all these Japanese companies, for instance, like Nintendo, like people work for Nintendo, people work for Bandai Namco, so CyberConnect 2. Like the programmers, like do the programmers on the team have a decent level of English simply because they had to do it to like use C++, right? Granted, is there much English in C++? Not really. You know, you have like if, else, um, void, which like isn't really English anyway. I mean, it's English, but like you don't really think of it like a void in English. You just kind of take it as the programming term. You do have to learn Latin scripts, but like that's so common anyway. I don't think that's an issue. And like Hinglish exists, right? Which is just Hindi. Well, you know what is English? Because I see it in comment sections. Hybrid language of both languages, and it has English grammatical structures. Interesting. But like, point is, even if people don't speak English, they can probably recognize Latin scripture, and if they can't, then it's not too hard to learn anyway. Um, like I feel like learning a language's script is probably one of the easier things to do, and can be quite fun. But anyway, but like yeah, like void, int, short for integer, like okay, like float, like floating point, like sure, but like if you tell a non-programmer float, they'll think like floats, you know, like not like a decimal number. So like those don't really matter anyway. Um, and like stuff like if else, like you can just learn those small things. So like, if you learn that, you're not going to become like fluent in English. Um, so I do wonder as well, like how, like just how much more difficult is it to learn a programming language for a non-English speaker? Like, oh, like obviously it's harder, but like, is it like is it that much harder that it's not like it's a real problem, or is it like a fairly minor um thing? Oh, mind you, I am ignoring the existence of library functions. And like I mean like libraries full stop. Obviously ignoring standard vector because that makes no sense, but like array, which also doesn't really make sense to a non-programmer. Okay, you know, but like stuff like set like a hash set, you know, or like like algorithmic stuff like sort and max and min. Like these are words that are obviously English, but to a non-native English speaker, let alone someone from India who who doesn't feel like, well, assuming they're a non-English speaking Indian, and like they're not like, and they speak like Hindi or Tamil, like those languages are probably very different. They're very different from English, whereas like a Spanish speaker might be able to kind of claw their way through, or like Japanese, right? That's also very different. Anyway, this is also what I have experienced firsthand, and even heard some people say, I wish we had a programming language in our own language. The OM programming language, which is this one, I wonder what it stands for, is the world's first multilingual programming language. I believe it. That supports nine languages at release, and will support more in the future. When is the future? Not now, apparently. There's a support button here. And rupees. How do you support? Maybe I assume there was a thing here, but it's not been removed. So, oh well. OM Lang was built to be simple to understand and simple to use. It solves this by first allowing you to write code in your native language, and at the same time being a very simple language and super fast too. Sorry, Java and Python. Now, one doesn't need to know English to learn programming. They can easily get familiar with programming in their own native language. Also, it was one of my dreams to test the power of Sanskrit in computers and programming. With OM Lang, it's time to use the power of Sanskrit to discover its impact in inventing and building technologies. So I do have this this article here of why Sanskrit is okay. Well, apparently Sanskrit is similar to a programming language, which makes me think it'd also be good for like naming conventions. Um, right. The mission of this, the aim is to change India. So this really stood out to me, not just because it's an interesting project, but also the mission's very interesting, right? The aim is to change India, but also to change the world using the power of India and Indians. Very, very, very nationalist, right? The aim is to bring back the lost essence of India, the lost culture and heritage that is fogged by the colonial mentality. That being, I assume, English is a global standard, so let's all use English for programming, right? Now, funnily enough, I'm actually reading this book. I'm reading this book. There, right? One Language for the World by Mario Pei. I don't know why the cover's so bland. I mean, this is like from the 90s. Um, but maybe there's a better version. Nope, it just but 1958. Huh? Bro, are you dead? Bro, I thought this book was like early as like 1995, which was when this was first stamped in my library. 1958. That's insane. And like the fact that we're no closer to this is very interesting. Okay, good to know, I guess. Um, but I personally do like the idea of having a single language for the world. Now, not that we just like forget all existing languages, but that everyone is in school taught a common language that is used across the world. Now, the EU could do this, honestly. There was Esperanto, right? And they could make another conlang that is like Esperanto. I mean, like not like Esperanto, but like the same kind of idea, where you would have a language that can be spoken all across Europe, because the EU is the biggest union I can think of. I mean, this is like the UN, but I don't know if they could have that power over like education systems. Like, would China teach a language? Maybe it would, or maybe they'd want to do Chinese, right? But like right now, English is the de facto lingua franca, or whatever it's called, right? The language that everyone uses. So it's interesting then that this wants to move away from having that lingua franca and instead allow people, or like rather empower Indians, in this case Indians, to write in their own native tongue, right? It's interesting. I mean, again, like programming in English wouldn't even teach you that much English anyway, so it's more just a hassle than it is like an actual useful thing anyway. Uh, but hmm, it's really interesting. And like I said before, if people do program in different languages, then suddenly code has a language barrier, right? Like a hard language barrier. You could like translate stuff, like translate coding files, but that's like an extra just layer of effort. Um, and like requires extra tooling as opposed to just being able to just read the file, right? The aim is to make India a true independent nation. The aim is to bring back the time when India was known for its innovation and contribution to the world. I mean, like not crazy, but like crazy big, like damn. The era in which India gave the world the invention of zero, and the numeric system, as well as Ayurveda, yoga, and much more. Like how Vedas knows so much more about the universe long before what today's science has discovered. So I'm guessing this guy's Hindu then. It's not time to value what we already have. It's time to use what our ancestors gave us to us. What our ancestors gave to us years ago. It's time to follow in their footsteps. It's time to be a truly independent nation and not to depend too much on foreign things, such as English, I guess. It's time to combine the Oh, also, this is a language, right? This isn't just like a translation of like C++. It is actually a different language. So it would be like I guess this would be marketed as like an Indian language for Indians by Indians, which is interesting because like if at the end of the day, at the end of the day, a programming language is a tool. It's like if India made their own computer systems, which are like geared towards Indians specifically, such that foreigners couldn't really use it without getting into Indian culture, right? And like learning Indian culture. Because if you were to program in a language in Hindi, you need to learn Hindi. Like there's not really much way around it. Um, so it's very strong gatekeeping potential, and I don't like gatekeeping, but certainly not a um like un yeah like un like certainly an interesting goal. I'll say that much. It's time to combine the power of technology and the power of our culture together and take our country to the greatest heights it deserves to be, and it used to be. This is not just about any ordinary project. It is the seed of India's and the world's brightest future. This project is a living proof of how we need to bring back our culture's essence, use it for our greatest good, and to also spread it around the world. A bit of fallacious argumentation here. I'm not just living proof of how we need to, but it is living proof that such a language could exist, and that is very, very interesting. It's time to bring back the time when India was known as the Golden Bird. The OM in Low Lang itself signifies the aim of this project. OM is the original vibration of the universe. And using the power of our culture, we can change this world for the better. For the better. Change this world how? Yeah, who cares? The aim is to do what has never been done before. The aim is to build and invent things that have never been built before. The aim is to use the power we have led to the world to a great future. Okay, so a bit of redundancy there, but future goals are to teach in schools, right? Which would be, honestly, like, actually, all of these are pretty useful. But like, the ability to teach a programming language in schools as a requirement would be really good. Like in English, you could do it, but like for other languages and like for other countries, it's harder to do if just because there is a language barrier. Like, can Indian schools teach a programming language in English if they don't also teach English, right? Whereas if you taught kids in this language from like primary school, like kids in India who speak like Hindi, Tamil, whatever, and then they write their stuff in their code in Hindi and Tamil, then that makes it so much more accessible. So that's really cool. And another reason why a global language would be very useful. In fact, I mean, this book that I just showed was written in what, 1958, and the first implemented, let's say. The first implemented programming language was 1952. So the first language, autocode, I guess, was, I mean, okay, when was Fortran? That's like the first proper one. The first Fortran? 1950, okay, so this was 1957. So the book I showed was like published a year after Fortran released. So I do wonder if it makes any like reference to programming languages. But I would say that if I were to make a language for the world for everyone to learn as a second language or additional language, to be able to communicate with each other, I wonder if it'd be worth making its grammar in such a way that it's very compatible with programming languages. Which I guess just means making it systematic, right? So like eliminating irregularities, very consistent grammar. Yeah. Use the power of Sanskrit to do various research on how using the power of Sanskrit language for programming, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. This one I'm obviously most interested in right now because I'm curious how Sanskrit grammar works. And build OMOS, lead Indian technology to the future by building India's own operating system, similar to how it's shown in the movie Interstellar. India's future as shown in the Hollywood movie Interstellar. Okay, apparently this is a thing in Interstellar. Cool. OMOS. Very, very interesting. So this guy is Mayana Kumar, inventor of the language, self-taught software engineer and computer scientist. Never went to college university, but instead doing what he really liked. Respect. He's on LinkedIn, but well, okay, he's not on LinkedIn, not anymore apparently. But I think he's on Instagram. Last I checked. Yeah. Like he made this thing and then kind of just vanished, which is a shame. Is this him? No, that's someone else. Oh well. Yeah. So that's the language. It seems. There's also a demo, which is seemingly the only thing there is. Like I can't find any like docs or anything. So I mean, there's members, I guess, but I have to register. Secret area. Can I access these? I have to log in. Okay, if I register, supports. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not possible to access a language right now. Also, at the bottom of the page, it says "Made in India." No, "Make in India." Um, I mean, this is the language preview that we have without the video. So I'm guessing this is like void main or int main. We have an array. Like, it looks quite C-like. Also, like, the punctuation is the same as in, I guess you say English programming languages. But I mean, like, really, like, these symbols are really just used because that's what comes on like keyboards, right? Like, using the exclamation mark for not has no like semantic English meaning or even mathematical meaning. Well, it's my understanding. Um, it's kind of just what was available on keyboards and what has stuck on keyboards. So let's have a look at
और
this.
इस वीडियो में मैं बताने वाला हूँ कि ओम प्रोग्रामिंग का ऐप खोलना है, यहाँ पे कोड लिखना है और
So so this was the app that he made. You could write code on your phone. Very, very, very interesting, of course. And then you could output it.
रन करना है और आप ऑप्शन से अपनी
This is him showing the website, I guess.
और इसको यहाँ पे डाउनलोड
Where do you get the download from? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm
के लिए
stupid.
ये
There is a desktop button here to download.
बटन है, उसके लिए आपको डाउनलोड करना
But
पड़ेगा
let's see what it
डेस्कटॉप
looks
में,
like.
तो यहाँ पे क्लिक करें
Because I'm not sure what it actually contains.
और
Like, is there a compiler
मैक के
or?
लिए ओम मैक, विंडोज़ के लिए ओम विंडोज़ और ओम एग्जाम्पल्स में सारे एग्जाम्पल कोड हैं अलग अलग भाषाओं में। अभी हिंदी में सबसे ज़्यादा
Okay,
सपोर्ट
so
है
there are
हिंदी
examples.
और क्लिक करके खोल सकते हैं या कोई भी अपने पसंद का दूसरा टर्मिनल यूज़ कर सकते हैं जिसमें हिंदी और दूसरे भाषा के फॉन्ट को आप जाके डॉक्स में भी जा सकते हैं। यहाँ पे कुछ डिटेल
The docs button has been removed. Yeah, it's just gone, which is really unfortunate. Because I wanted to obviously view more information.
दी हैं कि कैसे यूज़ करना है, कैसे
Unless it's still up, but just hidden. So omlang.com/docs. It's a bit slow. Oh no, it is up. Okay, so the button was removed, but it's still technically here. How to use. That's it. Okay, so very undeveloped. I wonder why he stopped.
इंस्टॉल करना है।
Because it just seemed like he had a
यहाँ
very
डेमो भी
like
इसके
heartful
बाद इसके
goal.
अंदर सारे फाइल लिख लेंगे, उसके बाद
If that makes
डॉट
sense.
फॉरवर्ड
Is he on? He's on Mac.
स्लैश और ओम मैक और जैसे कि आप देख सकते हैं कि ये प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज चल रही है, ओम
Yeah.
प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, ओम मैक, ओम लैंग रन करने के लिए, उसके बाद डैश बी भाषा के लिए,
So you enter your language name.
स्क्रीन पे
Okay, so this is in VS Code. This looks like Hindi. Okay.
लाइन प्रिंट करेगा।
This is a for loop then, right? So for, I guess, I equals 1, I less than 11, I plus plus, whatever this means or says, do this thing, I guess.
So इस प्रोग्राम में हम देख सकते हैं कि ये जो चक्र है ये 1 से लेके 10 तक सारे संख्या प्रिंट करेगा या छापेगा स्क्रीन पे।
Or maybe it's because it's Hindi and the grammar, I guess, is different. Maybe it's actually, again, int main, but this is like something for at the end,
तो चलिए देखते हैं कि ये कैसे काम कर रहा है।
which would be kind of hard to parse. I'm just thinking, like, it'd be better if a language still had for leading, I think.
So टर्मिनल में आ जाऊंगा मैं और इस कोड का पाथ
Unless you parsed
डैश एफ के आगे
backwards,
drag and drop कर
that's really.
और बस एंटर करना है।
Is that even possible? I mean, like, obviously possible, but like, is it like feasible or like use it? Yeah. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
गया 1 से लेके 10 तक सारे नंबर प्रिंट हो गए।
So it was a for loop.
और फाइल का पाथ नाम मयंक है तो
Okay, more Hindi examples. We got strings and whatnot. I do wonder how it's faster than like Java and Go.
पे 66। चलिए कुछ और ट्राई करते हैं, दर्ज करें।
But anyway, it seems to be at least somewhat functional. So yeah, cool. That is Omlang. So what I'm wondering then, why Sanskrit? Let's have a look. So why Sanskrit is only similar to, but not exactly, a programming language using JavaScript's concept as an analogy. So can I, yeah, send you this. Console.log, I hate when people, yeah, no comments. Console.log, Boolean, whatever this is, equals this. God, JavaScript is not going to be fun, as an example. One of my first Sanskrit teachers back in the days, okay, hold on. One of my first Sanskrit teachers back in the days studied design as an undergrad and completed her master's on traditional Sanskrit grammar. She then stopped tutoring Sanskrit altogether because she became a programmer. Programming has lots of similarities to working with the sutras in Sanskrit grammar. Okay, a sutra is a formula apparently. With the recent advancements in AI, discussions on whether Sanskrit is a scientific language arises again. I am not here to argue against the statement, albeit the provocative title. My wish, however, is to discuss two things. One, Sanskrit is as scientific as a language you can get, but it's not exactly how a programming language works. And two, many developers who have worked on JavaScript for years still cannot answer what a pure function is at an interview. Oh, okay. Given that a huge number of developers are from India, it's true, which is also why this particularly stood out to me, this language, because India does have so many programmers. I thought that instead of repeating what others needed to say about pure functions, using an innovative way to introduce a topic would leave a stronger impression to the reader. So this is actually secretly a post about pure functions. Okay. So the claim. A quick search using Google with keywords. How did I highlight this? Okay, let's not highlight that. Is Sanskrit scientific? Okay, what does that even mean? Will land us to numerous pages with similar messages like this one. The scientists at NASA have acknowledged that Sanskrit is the most scientific language in which the words are written exactly in the manner they are spoken or thought of. Okay. So I'm guessing that's why Interstellar then also uses Sanskrit in... I mean, I think it was Sanskrit or was it Hindi? I assume Sanskrit. Must be. So I assume that's why Interstellar uses Sanskrit, because it's a society where you switched to the more scientific language. So yeah, that is interesting then. NASA coding in Sanskrit. Indian Air Force drone. Was that okay? Is that relevant as well then? I don't know. But it's cool. So not only are there implications on programming languages, but also the way we write or discuss science. Okay. However, there have been some misinterpretations, as the original paper by Rick Briggs was discussing Sanskrit as a representational language in the development of AI. Oh. It cannot be further from the truth that NASA as a whole has acknowledged Sanskrit is the most scientific language. In fact, I doubt many scientists at NASA know too much about Sanskrit. Yeah. I cannot stress enough that I am not here to claim otherwise. In one of the few articles on Medium, such as this one, the author Tom Goldenberg gave examples on how organized the sutras in Panini's Astadhyahi, oh my days, are. I have to totally agree. So there's another article. Okay. I cannot just okay, whatever. Let me give you an example of the basics of the sandhis, a convention in Sanskrit which dictates sound changes when certain letters are placed together. If you are a student studying a Sanskrit textbook written by a Westerner, you will most likely need to memorize the rules in a table. One of the most frequent rules of Sandhi are rules that dictate when, for example, when a U sound changes to an O, and when an AI diphthong changes to an E sound. In the West, aspiring Sanskrit students are taught to memorize these rules in a table in their first semester class. However, if you can memorize the first two formulas in blah blah blah, notably the following two, the whatever those are. A huge amount of information is packed into these two formulas, and understanding how to decipher them will save hours of memorization from students of Sanskrit. Cool. So it's quite what's the word? Like formulaic. Long story short, Panini wrote these sutras based on a convention of organizing letters called Mahesvarani Sutrani to represent a huge string of letters instead of writing out each one of them. Made use of special terms called samjna. I don't know how to read these. What are these called? Diacritics, like the accents, I guess. Like like how do you say that? Is it vrdh and guna, or is that gunya, to define a bunch of vowels and combine them in two short formulas to provide a load of information. Okay. So these are used again and again to define the rules of the grammar, which programmers may already see similarities between Panini's methods and the programming concepts such as enums and maps. Okay. I mean, like, what I'm wondering is which language is best suited for programming in, like writing like the names of stuff in, right? Or like keywords in as well. Not necessarily which language most resembles a programming language. Okay, in JavaScript, let's switch gears to talk about pure functions. Here's a quick definition. A pure function is a function that always returns the same result if the same arguments are passed, i.e. it is deterministic. So A plus B is pure, this is impure. The first function will always give us the same result of A and B, say the same. Once the first function will always give us the same result of A and B. Okay, whatever. We can't expect the same results from the second function. If we were to define Sanskrit as either a pure or an impure function, how would you define it? How do functions look like in languages? Like human languages? I don't know. Let's look at an example. Okay, awesome. Without going into the technical terms of theories or even translating it. Okay, so the translation is when the term when the term the hamlet in the Ganges appears, meaning here becomes the hamlet on the bank of the Ganges or the Ganges. If variables like conventions and context were not taken into considerations, and the language of Sanskrit were to be considered mechanical by all means, we would never come to this conclusion. Let me wrap an example that I once heard from my teacher, when studying Sanskrit literature, into the following short story. Go play, says a mother. Upon hearing this, the child starts doing his homework. If you could ignore various factors and treat Sanskrit as a mechanical language based on strict rules, why would the boy start doing his homework after his mother asked him to go play? Conversely, would the child not play every time he were to hear his mother say, go play? Why would the exact same words generate different expectations and responses? So, Sanskrit is not pure function. Okay, but conclusion. That was fast. Though named as the language of the gods, as a language based on scientifically organized rules, Sanskrit has been used by humans and cannot escape the conventional usages of language. I would expect that. So I would expect as much, although Sanskrit is no longer a modern language, you could say. Like, I don't think, like, how many native Sanskrit speakers? Very, very, very, very low. Yeah. It's an ancient language. In fact, in the long history of Sanskrit, many important literatures may use some incorrect Sanskrit. Ironically, the mythologies of Sanskrit gods and goddesses, called Puranyas, maybe, may not contain pure Sanskrit, or is it like a nasal, like Puranos? I'm sorry, this is vexing me. Purana, soft R, Puranas, Puranas, banana, Puranas. Okay. May not contain pure Sanskrit. The premise of whether Sanskrit is scientific or not goes way beyond any blogs or articles can cover. Oh, okay. That was disappointing then. um, why is Sanskrit good for programming? Sanskrit. What did I say? Never mind. Sanskrit is computer friendly due to its highly structured algorithmic grammar, which creates low ambiguity, logical and concise syntax, suitable for AI and natural language programming. It's also phonetic. Okay. Minimal ambiguity. That's like the main thing. Just like having a language that's very unambiguous. Like Japanese would kind of suck because it's very contextual. And English as well is kind of hard to interpret sometimes. So Sanskrit, then, I'm guessing, is the other end of that, where it's actually very, very concise and unambiguous. Modularity, yeah, also modular. Predictable, phonetic precision. Okay. Um. Are there any like actual deep dives into this? Rick Briggs published in Air magazine. Not found. Great. Love that links. It talks about using Sanskrit in NLP, natural language processing. Okay. So the argument is that Sanskrit can be used as a programming language, period. So not that you like write C in Sanskrit, but that Sanskrit is the language. And that works specifically for AI commands because like an issue with using AI for programming like now and English is that English can be hard can be quite ambiguous and it's hard to like really nail meaning concisely. So if Sanskrit can do that, then I guess the argument is less that Sanskrit is a good programming language, but more that Sanskrit is a good instructional language um, for AI. Okay, that is certainly interesting. That is certainly interesting. So then I'm wondering, what is the best language for programming? Let's ask Claude because I feel like this is quite the quite, hard to Google question. What is or are some of the best the theoretical best languages for programming in? By this, I mean if languages like C, Rust, etc., whatever, etc., were used a different languages, words, and scripture, or like and script than English. E.g., what's integer in Spanish? It's probably the same thing, to be honest. Whatever. Let's see what Claude says to begin with. A fun thought experiment. Arabic. Okay. The video I recorded 2 days ago, I think, but I published it yesterday. Was literally Arabic, so that's cool. Japanese and Chinese. I was wondering about Japanese. Arabic has a root and modern morphology that's extraordinarily impressive. Can I zoom in here? That's a bit too much. What the hell? Okay. Yeah. Root and pattern morphology. Trilateral roots. Most words derive from a three-consonant root by inserting vowel patterns around them. For example, KTB to write, kataba, he wrote, kitab, book, maktaba, library, khatib, writer. I funnily enough looked at these exact examples 2 days ago. Okay. So so if you're like naming stuff, this maps remarkably well to programming concepts. You could derive loop, looping, looped, loop results from a single root LP. Ah, that would be cool. With consistent morphological patterns, making the language more self-documenting and regular than English identifiers. Combined with Arabic's very precise verb conjugation, for person, number, gender, tense, and mood. Function signatures could carry more semantic weight without verbosity. The Arabic script itself is context sensitive, as Japanese is. Letters change shape based on position, which is aesthetically complex but not a practical barrier in Unicode. Okay. Interesting. Oh, the script itself. Sorry, I know that the language is also context sensitive. Um, well, more that reading it is context sensitive because like it's ambiguous sometimes without the dia. Uh, I think they're called diacritics. Let me just check this because I should take notes on this before. Arabic. One, sorry. Yeah, diacritics. Like here, I think whatever, like Ein, Kaf, Da, like those three letters as a word could be necklace or contract depending on the context. Without diacritics, and it's only with diacritics that you are able to know which one it is because then you can know how it's pronounced. Likewise, like with Japanese, the reading of a kanji can change depending on the context as well, and sometimes can the meaning change? I guess so, although maybe not so significantly, but the reading can definitely change, and likewise the reading can change with Arabic. But for Arabic, it's also meaning, so that's quite significant too to consider. But cool. Yeah, I definitely want to try learning some Arabic beyond the level I learned in school. Then for Japanese or Chinese, you have logographic slash morphosyllabic scripts like kanji, which are very dense. So again, just reducing verbosity. A single language like hen, change or transform, or hi, distribute, dispatch, carries a concept that might take 5 to 10 characters in ASCII code. Sorry, I can't read right now. Code written in a logographic system could be significantly more compact. Imagine identifiers as single glyphs. Yep. Although I feel like Chinese is probably better in that case because Japanese has hiragana, which is used for like conjugating stuff, which can be more verbose. Like, although Japanese does use kanji, if you were to write English and Japanese side by side, you may not like Japanese may be longer compared to the English than you might expect, just because of how the hiragana is full width and like to say like I don't or like to say there isn't like there is not or like just is not like you have to add nai or whatever bad example, but Japanese also has a useful particle system that makes the grammatical role of each word similar to named parameters but baked into natural language, which would make function calls and data flow extremely legible. Chinese lacks particles, but it's even denser. The practical downside is input method complexity, but as a theoretical exercise, the density advantage is real. Input method complexity, I don't know what it means by that. Input method, like I guess like writing it is more complex, maybe. And again, like context, surely, like the contextual nature of Japanese would surely also be difficult sometimes, but maybe not. I mean, like there are definitely many examples, once again, of Japanese companies writing in Japanese. I mean, at least the comments are in Japanese. I guess function names aren't typically. Um, yeah, I don't know then. Yeah, so let's say you were to like call a function. Like if I were to take add A and B, right? In code, I do adds bracket A, comma, B, close bracket, right? And like that's me calling the function. I would add and then arguments A, B. But in Japanese, I could do like add some particle, then A, to, which is like and B, I guess. Could be interesting. They're highly, so for Latin or ancient Greek, which are both ancient. These are highly inflected languages. Nouns, verbs, and adjectives are all change form based on their grammatical role. This means word order becomes nearly irrelevant to meaning, and the endings carry the structure. Really, theoretically, I mean, I know like a decent amount of Spanish. So I wasn't aware of this. Theoretically, you could write expressions in almost any order, and the parser would still understand the relationships between tokens from their morphology alone. This could allow more natural human readable code that doesn't fight against the syntax rules. Yeah, fighting against syntax rules is a big thing. Cause like just because a language looks simple to write doesn't mean it's simple to parse, and that's quite important for like compile times and whatnot. And also compiler complexity. Latin has a very compact, expressive vocabulary. Integer, vector, cursor are all Latin already. Vector means carrier. Okay. Integer means whole or untouched. Cursor means runner. Vector means carrier, though? Okay. Finnish or Hungarian? Okay. These languages build words by stacking suffixes, oh yeah, onto roots in a very regular, predictable way. Isn't this the same as like Turkish? No irregular forms, and even Japanese. No exceptions. Finnish has 15 grammatical cases. Wait, what? No exceptions? It's impressive. In Finnish, you can encode into, out of, on top of, from, on top of, inside, from, inside, all as suffixes on a noun. This regularity is ideal for a programming language. A compiler could parse morphology very reliably, and identifiers could carry precise relational meaning. For example, array sta, meaning from the array, and arrayin, I guess, into the array, without needing extra keywords. Interesting. Very, very cool. I mean, I see you want to put like a... Well, they're suffixes, so I guess it's fine. The theoretical winner, Arabic or a CJK. What's CJK? Kanji. Okay. Why is it called CJK though? Chinese, Japanese, Korean. I'm guessing. CJK characters. Yeah, literally. Okay. Arabic wins on expressive morphological regularity, and Chinese / Japanese wins on information density. More so Chinese, but English is frankly a poor basis. It's really bad by these standards. Its morphology, it's morphologically impoverished, almost no inflection, highly irregular, and verbose relative to what it encodes. Unfortunately, it really sucks, man. The only real advantage English has is that it's already the global lingua franca. Yep. APL gestures at the logographic idea. It uses dense symbolic characters to encode operators as single glyphs. Operations, sorry. How do you Yeah. How do you write APL without an APL keyboard? Like, even if I don't speak Chinese, sorry, even if I don't have a specific Chinese keyboard, I can still write Chinese characters in pinyin and then convert it. Or if it's Japanese, I can write it in romaji and then just convert it, which is quite consistent. I mean, more so Japanese than Chinese. Of course, like there's some ambiguity of like, which kanji happens to be ka in this case, and then like I like choose the right one. Like APL, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, APL is a very I'll say cool. It's a very cool language. Like this, it's just incredibly concise because it uses symbols for like everything. Very interesting idea. Here be an APL keyboard. Like that's it. So like, is there even like a thing? Try APL. 2+2 functions apply to arrays. Really? So if I do 4 2 plus 8 5, then it adds them together. That's cool. I mean, very concise. This symbol here generates the first 10 integers. So how do I type this? Can I do like backslash something? No, but I do have these up here, I guess. So like if I do I10, how about with an underline? What the hell? Sum the first 100,000 integers. So plus slash I10. Okay. We can store. Why is there a question mark? Store 10,000 dice rows. I'm using question marks like randomizer. You can store a function in a name as well. Cool. That's ro, right? That's ro. 6. Oh, it's like modulo. So if I do like question mark, interesting. Very, very interesting. Hello world is literally just hello world. Cool. What is this? You can count the things. So yeah, APL is extremely concise. Very, very cool language. Is it very useful? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more of like a, what do you call it? Like a fun, esoteric kind of language than an actual like practical one you would use day to day. Although obviously, if you get very like used to using it, then it's probably great. But you do have to like learn it like you learn a language. So there is a case where like instead of inventing a new language, instead of using an existing human language, like choosing to use Arabic, Japanese, or English, we make our own programming symbols. You know, like our own things. That'd be cool. But even then, like APL also has to use English identifiers, seemingly. So that's not ideal anyway. Because identifiers are a really big part of which language is good, and you can't really create identifiers without basing it on something on some existing language. Like you can't just say vector is a symbol, map is a symbol, my custom library uses this custom symbol. Like you can't do that. You need to actually use proper semantic stuff, right? Like sort and array. Um, so what this makes you wonder: are there any existing programming languages that use these? Quite a few. So there are Chinese ones, cool. Wenyan Lang is probably the most well known. Turing Complete Language that reads like classical Chinese. It has a GitHub repo with thousands of stars. Lisp interpreter as well. Genuinely usable, not just a toy, but it is archaic Chinese. I wonder why. There's also Taonima. No way, bro. Taonima Lang exists as more of a joke slash Isu Lang, but still demonstrates the concept, bro. What is this? Okay, let's look at Wenyang Lang first. What can we Taonima Lang? Wenyang okay hub. It has a website too. 20,000 stars. Okay, let's just look at the website. Ooh, cool. Very cool. Yep. It only contains traditional Chinese characters, so no brackets or anything. Very cool, very cool. Hello world. Syntax is just like of the namespace. Hello world. Um, yeah, I can't read Chinese, by the way. The code above is editable. Go ahead, customizing the greeting and hit. Another slightly more sophisticated example. That's this, the Sivov Eratosthenes. So, I mean, if I understood Chinese, this would be a bit better, obviously. The thing is, it's written like classical Chinese, which isn't really what I'm after. I'm more after a language that's like literally just like C, but in Chinese, as opposed to like we want to make it read like Chinese. Although if you can make it read like Chinese, I guess that's also good. Better even. So it's just like repeat 3 times within. Let's translate this actually. Maybe instead of trying to guess, I have a number said 3. It's called A. It is A everywhere. Okay, so like very very like prose like then. It's cool, but not quite what I'm looking for. Taonima lang. For those who don't know what Taonima means, maybe that's a good thing. Digital Times, Brass Mud Horse. Dude, this is actually so funny. Yeah, so the symbols are grass, mud, horse, but it's red. Taonima. Kojo.com. Please. Okay, the Kojo grass, mud, horse language is like the following. This loops from 1 to 10. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so again, like not really what I'm looking for. Nadeshiko is a legitimate, actively maintained Japanese spoken language. It's used in Japanese schools and it's a real sentence. What? Syntax reads as natural Japanese sentences. There's also Himawari, its predecessor from the same developer. Puroguramu and similar ISO langs also exist. Nadeshiko. But this is also written as like readable Japanese, which again is not really what I'm after. Women's football. No. Is it this one? Yeah, Purogurami. Yeah, this one. Any examples? This is a blog, isn't it? Top 3. Manual, community. Let's have a look at the manual, I guess. Nashiko version 3. Okay. Starting out, why not? Tutorial. これから日本語プログラミング言語なでしこを使って Awesome. Okay. By the way, I'm surprised I can even navigate to this site at all. My Japanese is really not that good. Okay. Konnichiwa to. What's this mean? Plugin system. Okay. So can I run it? Yeah. Konnichiwa. それでは something blah blah blah blah. What does this mean? Not gonna let me translate. Let's open Jisho. One of my favorite Japanese to English dictionaries. Indication, expression, demonstration. Okay. So when it says to, what do you mean? What do you mean hello and expression? Like what does that actually mean? See if my thing works here. Display hello. Okay. So what is to doing in this sentence? Is this one thing as well? Or to. Okay. So you can also use o. Like what? So can we edit this? No. Whoops. So back somewhere. Kuria. Keria? Is that ku? I don't even know. Kuria. Oh, clear. Yeah, so it is kuria. Kuria. So I can't edit this, unfortunately. Do they have a playground? That'd be really useful. What's it called again? Nadeshiko Playground. Whoa. Lang. It lists on this site as well of the non-English languages. What's this? These are docs. How do I test the language online? Edita. Perfect. So let's Japanese. Okay, so like what? Like Nihongo. Oh no, これが Oh my god. Yare. Oh. So okay, so first of all, to is what you use here, right? This is to hyoji. So to hyoji. Is that right? No. Wrong kanji. Hyoji. So it's this. No, it was this one. Okay. So let's run. Just print it. So can I use o as well? Okay, so both work. So that was just a thing. Yeah, okay. So it's like print this. Interesting. Do I need quotation marks? I assume I do for strings. Undefined, yeah. So for strings, I need to use quotation marks. Do they also allow double? Not that I even know how to really type these. I thought it was shift, but it's not. Yeah, both work. Cool. I'm not sure what the significance of that might be. Okay. Hoyu. Where's docs? Yep. So this is just a string or what? Wisdom is worth more than weapons. Cool. This the exact same. Oh, full stop. So you can end your statements with a full stop, optionally. Yo, I'm learning this language right now. That's crazy. And I'm actually learning Japanese grammar at the same time, which is funny. Yeah. So this is a doshi, I think doshi, which is a verb in Japanese. It means verb, which is weird. Am I tripping? Or is this not doshi? Help. What? No, doshi is something else, isn't it? But it's like something she. I might be completely wrong. Joshi, particle. Okay, not doshi. It's a particle meaning joshi. Okay, good. So we have a particle. Konnichiwa is our data, data even data, or whatever this means. Text column, and then this is our whatever this is. Life. What? Order command. Cool. Um. Okay, so this is a different command, which announces it here. Interesting. Okay. So this is EU. Yeah, EU. To say, to declare. So if you say it, I guess it's like a web language. So it just does it like this. Cool. So it seems to compile to JavaScript. I'm guessing. Uh, print this one something. Is that like delay? And then hanasu. Is hanasu the same as EU? Okay, I think it said it out loud, like as text to speech, but I didn't hear anything.
プログラミングは面白い。
Right.
プログラミングは面白い。
Kuragori. Wow, programming is interesting. Cool. So if I use here hanasu, it's going to fail the first time. But if you try again,
やれやれ。
cool. And then this is wait. Yeah, this is like matsu, right? And is this like second? I don't really know. Is it second? It must be. Yeah. So that's bio. So we can do something like this. Yada yada ga or whatever. I forgot what it was now. Whatever this is. I will do it again just to remember. Hyoji. Okay, I thought so actually. Hyoji. Then we can say 1 second. Is that bio? Bio. Yeah. So we say ichi bio motsu. Wait. Or is it matsu? I think matsu is hold and motsu is wait. Yeah. I think. No. Very subtle difference. Motsu is hold, matsu is wait. Okay, full stop. And then let's put something else. Ore ga sabaku. Sabaku. I guess. Or hyoji. Cool. Let's play this. And yeah, so cool. Works exactly as you'd expect. That's very cool, I must say. And it works without full stops. I'm guessing that if you want to combine them into one line, this would be invalid. But if I add a full stop here, like natural language, it makes perfect sense. Dude, this is sick. This is actually so sick. And like it's teaching me Japanese as well at the same time. Yo, this is actually so cool. Okay, I might come back to this because this is generally the sickest thing I've seen in a while. Um, Take me to the home page and I'll bookmark it. Where should I guess I'll bookmark it in my programming folder. Um, nice. That is crazy. That is actually crazy. Definitely got to come back to that for a future video of some kind. Um, okay, so that was that one. Himawari is the predecessor. I wonder why they different names. What does Nadeshiko actually mean? Anyway, Jisho, go back to English keyboard. Jisho.org, pink flower, the pink, and also their football team, the women's football team. So there was Himawari. Sunflower. Okay. Sure, sure. Uh, Puro, Program with hiragana. I wonder if Google will pick it up. Mm, no. Whatever. Arabic, underdeveloped given the theoretical argument for it. Qalb, meaning heart, is the most noticeable attempt. It's a scheme-like Lisp dialect written entirely in Arabic script, created by Ramzi Nasser. Cool. He wrote a fascinating essay about the experience, noting that Arabic's, oh yeah, right to left, created genuinely novel problems in things like nested parentheses, dude, yes, and code editors that were never designed with RTL in mind. Yeah, cool. So, Qalb, meaning what, I wonder? Heart. Oh yeah, it said that. So, Qalb Lang? This is Ramzi Nasser, 2013. Qalb is a programming language exploring the role of human culture in coding. Code is written entirely in Arabic, highlighting cultural biases of computer science and challenging the assumptions we make about programming. It is implemented as a tree-walking language interpreter in JavaScript. Wow. Now, I don't speak enough Arabic to know what any of this really means. Like, I see a number here, some numbers here. As, like, I mean, I guess I can read it. Asfar, question mark. But I don't know what that means. Amshak or Amshalak. I don't know. Uh-huh. Okay. Another cool case study. And then what's this video about? A few minutes.
Language can express any kind of compute to challenge that. In Arabic, and it just prints, it turns black or white. That's it. You can see the universe in this corner up here.
Humane comments given life? Or something else? I don't know. Anyway. Cool. So underdeveloped, which is interesting. There's Hindi, which is Kalam. However you pronounce that, is a Hindi synthesis language. Several Sanskrit-based experiments. Sanskrit is interesting because its grammar was formally described by this Panini guy again in a way. PCE. Yeah, okay. Even wrote a paper arguing it's a deal for AI NLP. That was 1982. So the AI argument for Sanskrit was actually 1985, which is very, very interesting. So Kalam. Again, I don't speak Hindi either, so this will not be. What the hell? He was a former scientist and president of India. So India has a science president. Sorry, this looks so devious. He died in 2015 and born in 1931. No, that's not surprising. But he served from 2002 to 2007, so he was quite old at the time. Muslim. But he studied. I mean, he was raised in a Muslim family, but he studied physics and aerospace engineering. Very interesting. So this is kalamlang.in in Hindi. I don't know what that says. Let's learn kalam. Is it in English? No. Results output screen. Name equals hello world. So this is like a variable. This must be like print. I can only assume. Show. Show name. Show tic-tac-toe. Show 007. So you can overload it. I'm guessing 007 would be just number 7. Ah, cool. No, it keeps the 2 zeros. Okay. Hello world plus my name is name. Seems like the plus adds a space by default, which is not so great. Okay. Not hugely interesting. Russian and Slavic. Enterprise is a massive Russian business software platform with its own programming language. Really? That supports Russian language keywords natively. Not a toy. Most commercially successful. Okay, let's have a look at this. I mean, this is the company. Yeah, that's the company. Never mind then. Okay, so it's hard to compare which languages are good for identifiers without knowing the languages more deeply. Like I can't really like check the Arabic one because I don't understand Arabic in the first place. I can check the Japanese one, but that's one's not really it. Okay, yeah. So that's. I think I'm gonna leave it there, but that's certainly interesting. Find that real quick. I don't know if I saved it. No. Is it Kip? Yes, Kip. I think Kip on GitHub. So Kip is a cool language. It's in Turkish because Turkish, like Japanese, well, yeah, Turkish and Japanese and Korean and Tamil all very much have somewhat similar grammar. Um, I mean, maybe it's just the word order. That's the only similarity. But I think they all also have like a suffixes building type thing, if that makes sense. So this is the playground. If we run this, I mean, it's a bit slow. 2-1. Now I don't speak Turkish, but if we were to just Google Translate this. To print, this is if it's empty, to stop, if it is a continuation. So, okay, so to print is like, I guess, the infinitive form then. But like, it says this first and then this, right? Like, bas. I don't know how to pronounce this. Well, I'm just gonna say bastirmak to print. Like so like in Japanese, the verb comes afterwards. Although in the case of Turkish, there's no particle. I guess you would just use the infinitive here. If it is empty, So if it is empty, stop. Okay. If it is a continuation, write the first one, print the rest. Print the reverse of the ones, twos, empty stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So like it's really hard to translate like that. I think you need to understand Turkish. But greeting, selamlamak, boş, merhaba boş. Merhaba, so that's my name, I guess, because merhaba means hello. So I'll do Kojo then. Merhaba Kojo. So selamlamak, isim or isim? I think isim. İsim için okuyup. Oh, I can edit it. Merhaba YLA. That's like and. İsmin birleşimini yazmaktır. Selam. Oh my god. What's it say, by the way? Natural language ambiguity resolves it. Yeah, experimental. Very cool, very cool. I wonder, like, I wonder if it reads like prose though, or if it reads like, more programmatically. By prose, I mean like actual like sentences, like paragraphs and stuff that you would write in normal Turkish. But I'm guessing not, since it uses like brackets and stuff, so that would really make sense. Selam lamak. So I'm guessing selam lamak and selam la. I'm guessing selam is the function name, lamak is the start, and la is like the end. So like if I change this to like kojo lamak and kojo la, I assume that it would still work. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so then what does this mean in Turkish actually, first of all? Translate text to text. Greet. So if you go to custom or day example, increment, karıştırmak, karıştır. Oh, sorry, my bad. Or not? Why didn't Kojo work? Is K not in is K just like not a letter in Turkish? No, it is because it's here. Selamla, Selamla. Unexpected S? Huh? Okay, I guess my assumption is just wrong. But surely, right? Like file IO. Maybe it's to do with some scope, like allowing IO and like allowing. I don't know. Anyway, so we take input here, right? Translate 4. Okay. I don't know. Day example. I guess it can pass JavaScript. It's very slow though. I don't know why. Is it even running? No. Okay, never mind then. Increment. Like 5, 6, 2, 3. K. Ta. Okun mother. Type stuff. Okay. We got comments. Okemo style comments, my favorite, because they look like normal asides in English, and I guess in some other languages too. Okay, so yeah, that's Kip. Kip is also very cool. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. I don't think. Well, I say I don't think this will be standard, but like apparently the Japanese one that we looked at is being taught in schools, so that seems to be pretty popular and effective. I could definitely see how because it mimics natural Japanese language. I can easily see how that'd be used to teach programming to kids. You know, um, not like the language itself, but like teach programming concepts to kids, at least to an extent. But like I wonder like how far can you go with it? Like, can you have like classes? You know, can you have like whatever functions? We need to see functions. Um, yeah, but very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And I kind of want to see at some point, maybe I'll make one, but I like to see a comparison of how different languages can, like the pros and cons of how they can be used for identifiers. Um, like Japanese is concise, but like I want to see more examples of that, and like have like a concrete list of examples of why English is not good for identifiers, compared to some other languages. So, huh. But either way, I will definitely want to continue that Japanese thing, continue looking into it, especially because it can help me learn some more Japanese, and that's great because I want to learn more Japanese. So yeah, this was interesting. Like for more videos, subscribe for more videos, and leave a comment down below on which language you think would be best in a programming language.